It's Saturday and the SPL is back. Time for some European action. Myself and Diem will be bringing you the first game of today.
Welcome. We're going to see Fnatic and Panthera square off here, and I think the big story here is that Fnatic finally found their footing in their last set, and now immediately have to test their mettle against the world champions.
But the big difference here is we don't expect Fnatic to necessarily win here, but what they can do is take a lot of experience out of this set more than anything else in terms of finding out where their weaknesses are that they need to improve on, especially with their new roster players.
I think Panthera. Oh my God!
Panthera.
I don't even
hungry?
go there. I hate that place. And no, I just ate. I think Panthera is going to walk through this one, even with Fnatic playing much better than they did. I don't think this is Panthera looking. Panthera.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't think this
is on
is
the screen. Like production, put it on the screen so you can see. It's Panthera.
H. What is an H?
H. It's a H. It's a H. It's a H. You weird bloke. Fnatic as well. They'll be up against today. Obviously, later on today, we've got Paradigm versus Dignitas, which should be a very interesting match. Paradigm sort of set up for second place, but Dignitas on the climb now.
I'm kind of thinking we should just call Panthera the Bread Boys for like the rest of the split.
Well, let's have a look at the Bread Boys in the leaderboards right about now. They are top of the chart, 6-0. At the bottom, hungry for more, 1-5. They did find their first win this week. So overall, it's still pretty close after, well, heading to the end of week 3, and everything's still to play for apart from Panthera is still top.
Team Dignitas yesterday, a big win. We'll find them later on today. Also a very hard matchup. They showed how strong they can be, and now they're going to go up against the second seed, either way, from Europe, and that's going to be Paradigm. And Paradigm had a pretty impressive win yesterday, but you know what? I don't really credit that win. That was just like standing in tremors at level 1 and killing themselves. Like, that doesn't count. But we're going to deal with the Bread Boys here and see if they just walk through Fnatic. Fnatic, to me, not looking for a win. They're looking for, like,
experience.
35 to 40 minutes of game time for each game.
And
that's the goal.
The reason they're looking for 35 to 40 minutes is for the experience of playing against this opposition and showing that Panthera, you can take Panthera late. That's the big key.
There's a H.
You said Panini or whatever you said a minute ago. Neef banned away by Panthera, and then it's over to Fnatic for their first ban. Now, Fnatic have banned Khepri every single game they've been involved in so far.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they will this time. The reason being, I don't think they'll be upset by iRaffer playing that because he won't be as aggressive, I guess, but they're still going to have to deal with adapting being aggressive if they don't.
Kronos Neith getting taken away by the Bread Boys, and then Fnatic, of course, on Isis. Will it be the Khepri? We have a few major bans still. Kali on the board. Yeah, it's going to be kept. They do not want to deal with that res.
Well, Fnatic as well haven't actually found a win over on the Chaos side of things so far this season. Only played 1 game there, though, but they've not actually found a win. Meanwhile, Order for Panthera, they've won 5 games out of their 6 so far playing this side. Sol will be the first pick, and it is a flex pick as per usual.
That's right. Both Yammyn and emilitoo have had very strong Sol showings, so I'm expecting that they're going to use this advantage. And if they pick another hunter afterwards, which is likely, that could go in either direction. You never know what you're going to fight until the loading screen starts.
I agree. For the most part, though, we generally see whenever a Sol locked in, it'll go to emilitoo, and Yammyn will look for the hunter in the mid lane. It's happened more often than not there. But Janus for Zyrhoes, not a big surprise to see him go back to that. His performances on that god have been fantastic so far this season. Very well positioned, even in negative losing games. He's always been there to support. And Najjar, the rise of Najjar this season, DM. Why? Why?
He's very damaging. It's very hard to deal with him. Once Purification's on cooldown, he has much more openings. Magi's is still terrible, so you don't have that counter as well. A lot of what made Nasha not a great pick had to do with items, which have mostly changed. And given that Nasha is an assassin who functions very well with a high amount of gold, taking the costs away from the relics as well really gives him a way to get to that end game faster and take a mage right off the board.
Geb picked up, therefore, iRaffer for the boys of Panthera. They're looking towards the last pick.
That is actually a Nasha counter. Putting a Geb shield on someone who's about to get ulted can negate some of the damage, and he can't ult Geb for max damage because Geb's crit reduction passive just shuts down most of what Nasha can do to him.
Well, Hou Yi locked him kind of gives the idea that Hou Yi should be over in the duo lane play by emilitoo. I don't think we've actually seen Yammyn pick that up for the mid lane yet so far, although Hou Yi, we've not really seen the mid lane at all really this season.
And don't be fooled by this Apollo. This might not be a hunter role, an ADC role. This might be a solo. Not only have we seen Game Hunter do it, but a lot of the North American solo laners have been doing this in ranked. This is considered by a lot to be one of the top, if not the top solo laner pick right now, thanks to the throwing dagger build.
Considered, but I'm not sure if that's in maniaK's god pool is my big talking point here. maniaK likes to be on the front line, unless he used to be on the healers
maniaK's a
back in the day.
jouster. maniaK has every god in the god pool.
He will, but will it play to the strengths of Fnatic here? Ban's coming
That's
through, though.
fair.
Athena taken away by Panthera here. 4 times it's been picked up by Fnatic this season, so not a surprise to see that one. We'll end up possibly seeing Kumbhakarna coming out for BigManTingz. He's gone to that quite a few times. Hunbats as well, banned out against adapting.
Final ban. Panthera looking probably to hit the support role. They've already taken out Athena, and it's going to be Ares as well against Fnatic.
So really hitting on BigManTingz there. Obviously, Ares pretty good against Hou Yi and Geb. Not too bad against Sol overall as well. And it's over to Fnatic for more than likely their support pick here. They'll probably try and save what I expect to be their solo laner for last here. And to be fair, Realzx and Apollo is something you're used to saying.
I wonder if this is going to be Bacchus. It really feels to me like that's the only major pick open. They're going to lock in Bellona. There is some form of flex pick here. We have seen Bellona support in the past. It's not terrible. Ymir is still available as well. Panthera for their final 2 picks. More than likely looking for their solo in jungle.
And the support for Fnatic as well. Having the last pick option is one of those strengths that you don't often get as a support player. But being able to see the whole roster you're against before locking in really can give an inkling of what's good to go against. And with the tier locked in, it would have been a great opportunity to go Ares here, as we were saying. But obviously Panthera well aware of where they were going to go, so they banned that one away.
Yeah, the famous Dimi tier, playing this character even when he was considered to be not at the the top of the croc. We find him doing very, very well with this character. High damage, high control, and it's going to be a Awilix to finish up, despite the fact that no jumps. They're looking to set this up with the tier, set it up with the Geb, the Hou Yi. Yep. There's a lot of potential for combo here, especially from the front line.
So we're looking at Fnatic now for the last pick. I'm expecting potentially a Kumbhakarna here as an option to deal with it. Just because Groggy's strike, he can't get knocked up during that as well, would be okay for not being picked off too easily. There we go. As well as one of the best setup ultimates in the game.
Not to mention, it's probably the hardest support counter to Sol, or rather the hardest counter to Sol aside from Vamana, and certainly the hardest support counter as well. Kumbhakarna gets locked in. These will be your squads. Apollo going to be your hunter, definitely not going solo lane. Bellona will go to maniaK, and I think a lot of that has to do with what you talked about before. maniaK is a frontline player for this team because the team requires it.
They really do. Start of the game, though, you can see both supports going out for the early ward in the same position. They'll see each other and notice that both of them only had boots. Very risky for both to go with just boots and no potions. They really wanted to rush out there and get there as quick as possible.
We're going to see helmet builds from both of the mids. Yammyn not taking the hunter to mid in a surprising move.
Interesting choices between the supports as well. There you can see Blink picked up by BigManTingz. That shows a sign of aggression. Looking for, as soon as he hits 5, he'll be looking for the Blink ults every single time.
I was actually going to say, I wonder if emilitoo is going to do the new start. I've seen a few people do this with Hou Yi, where you triple bounce the boar by yourself, kill it immediately, then go over, get experience from the red, and rush to lane. Then you kill as fast as possible the wave, because you get there way earlier, and then come back and you and the support do the small camps together. It's a little bit less experience for the mid, but it's way more control for the duo lane as a whole, and it gives them invasion potential at 3 minutes.
But do they really need that? I mean, to be fair, you've also got Yammyn and Adapts in the mid lane there on the Sol. I don't think you... Oh, sorry, it's not... Yeah, I mean, you could look for the Yammyn and Adapts to do that, I guess, but there's
What in the world?
That shot was awesome. Okay, so that was a different triple shot, and you saw Geb pull it, and the third hit the buff. And that's why you saw Sol help. That was a really fast clear by the looks of it. Oh, was it?
That was incredible.
I don't think it was as fast as we thought it was. It looked cool, but if you notice, Apollo and Kumbha have made it there a little bit quicker, but I guess that's because Geb's a little bit weak in this phase.
And, wow, actually, Apollo burning through that. I mean, that's what throwing dagger kind of does.
Yeah.
Wow, iRaffer just going right in.
Just roll out straight away, try and get some... And this is just lane dominance both teams are looking for really. emilitoo, though, took a lot of poke early on by Realzx. Has health potions, though, so he should be okay. He might just have to burn one a little bit earlier than he would have liked to.
Left side, nice ring toss. Jifffy, though, is going to lose control over the camp for that small amount of damage, adapting, staring it down as Kumbhakarna rotates over.
Yeah, Panthera finally giving that one up, realizing they're not going to have an opportunity to do it, so they're going to pressure the wave instead. And you can see, actually, Fnatic took the right-hand harpies there just by the back harpies being down.
What is this? Oh, adapting gets on the cat for what seemed like no reason.
They know this back is up because the right harpies are down, so this is a good invade by Panthera here, just to even things up a little bit in terms of experience. But
not going for free.
Jiffy's here, as is Zyrhoes, looking to pressure, going to force the reset for now.
Adapting resets, yeah, wow. I wouldn't have expected that. I thought he was going to maybe go for the flip, and it's good that he didn't.
Sash hits Yammyn. No follow-up though. Flip comes out from adapting. He hits an unstable vortex, and the Stellar Burst comes out in response. They'll just go back with Suku to the safety of his half of the lane.
Jifffy, level 4. Can we actually hover on Nasha, please? I would like to see if he did take a level in that Flaming Spear. He did. I want to see him activating this, getting his health back.
Is this a 1-point wonder this season? Are you still wanting to max Sash second, or do you want to hold off on maxing Sash and get the heal going?
I mean, you want to get the Sash. But, I mean, at level 4, it's not a bad idea to get that Flaming Spear now. It used to be where you didn't get it until 6. Now, getting that extra heal is a much more important run than getting a little bit of extra damage on that ring at level 5. So he'll go into Windfire Wheels next, most likely, and he'll have that heal available if he gets out of position.
Level 5 should be hit there. Oh, I was expecting it to be, but it's not. Jiffy's still level 4 at the moment. Will be level 5 off this wave, though. Left-hand side, though, is an invade coming out from Panthera there, as they did steal away those boars on the left and keep the pressure on. It's forcing a rotation from adapting now to try and pressure as well, as Fnatic attempted to defend the ping-in onto Realzx here.
And look at the way emilitoo's position. It's just enough to where they don't think anyone's coming. Nice turnaround, just barely.
The Mez, though, from Realzx, just paying off for them through space and time, comes fired off by the voice of Fnatic. They're trying to turn this one around, and iRaffer could be a little bit awkward position as the ult comes out from Jifffy.
Barely any damage thanks to that passive. Geb's shield coming out, but a beautiful Groggy Strike will find first blood, and it will go to Realzx.
What are they going to do there? I mean, adapting and emilitoo, there's not a whole lot you can do to protect a Geb with those two characters. You're going to sit and basically watch him slowly be whittled away.
He was only level 4, didn't have Cataclysm. His Shockwave, of course, wasn't activated. And while he did get the shield off and his passive got a major amount of use there, which is unlikely at this stage of the game, it just wasn't enough. Realzx finding a decent amount of damage himself.
A lot of that credited to Zyrhoes really on that rotation over with Jifffy, that through space and time, making the impact with the rotation. Right hop is being contested here over there by Yammyn at the moment, but it looks like it will go the way of Fnatic once again. So be tuning with experience in gold, we should see Fnatic in a pretty good position.
And Tingz rotates over to try to control this a little bit more. Fnatic not only have first blood, but actually the gold lead as well. And while it shouldn't sound surprising, usually the case is if you do get a kill on Panthera in the early, you're usually still pretty far behind.
Yeah, you're still far behind indeed. Can we tune in with BigManTingz as we see them doing this red buff here? I just want to see what Kumbhakarna is maxing first of all. He is going for the throwback at the moment. We've seen a couple of people start maxing Yawn first in some situations for that extra CC length, but for this one he's going to go for the throwback, which is the additional damage, and it's very, very good poke when it actually does get leveled. It can full clear a wave once it's maxed.
I think this is a good idea. Going up against Geb, who can just completely negate this Yawn for someone who's, been hit by it, unless he finds Geb +1, that shield's going to erase most of what makes Yawn great anyway. So by going into the throwback and guaranteeing some damage, he'll still have the Yawn for setup. He'll lose a little bit of CC control, at least until level 13, but I don't see that as a major negative here.
So both junglers did start with power pot this game. They should be tickling off very, very soon. As you can see, adapting still has his on for the time being. Just going to head over for these back harpies. Yammyn returning to base here, more than likely for boots. Maybe he'll invest more into the helm. No, he's gone for the helm, full helm and boots.
I like full helm. I do.
Oh, it's extra penetration, right? It's
pen,
also
it's
fizz
damage.
against Jifffy. It's going to give him physical defense against Jifffy as well in case of those rotations. Talking about Jifffy, he's making a rotation over to this right-hand side, but there is a ward placed down here.
This is a waste.
By Dimi, and Dimi would have called out to the team, so we may see some aggression from Panthera elsewhere.
A level 8
Jifffy stays.
A level 8 tier, there's no trouble here for him. He knows it. Well, he'll sit back and be safe. I don't think there was any real danger, honestly.
And these are two of the most respected solo laners as well. Dimi and maniaKK have played against each other a lot, especially last year when they were like specific scrim partners, so these two would know each other's playstyle out and out.
I would say these are like 2 of the 4 like solo lane legends from Europe. You have Dimi, of course, world champion. maniaKK has been to almost every single LAN with a few LAN wins himself. And then, of course, you have Game Hunter, who pretty much invented the role, and then Xaylia, who is just... I don't think there's a single player in the world who can ignore the meta and be as successful as Xaylia.
As Xaylia has been. With the Kumbhakarnas, with the nemesises of gods like that, it's always been a strange
To be fair, that Kumbhakarna should not have worked.
Well, it did.
That's because they stood in the Tremors, man!
Tremors OP?
I mean, at level 1, if you stand in them for 9 seconds, yeah, dude, they're pretty strong.
So Fnatic got themselves in a good position for 6 minutes in the game, getting first blood onto iRaffer, as well as, keeping control of these mid-harpies for the most part. It's a good start for the boys, especially considering that we expect them to really struggle in this game, potentially just because of the new members against the experienced world champions that are Panthera.
Throwing daggers still active, as you see both hunters getting into their boots as well. A experience and gold advantage right now, although the experience seems slight, for Realzx, as you see 41 compared to 36. And I don't think there's any role in the game that's changed by gold as much as hunter. You're fighting in a boxing scenario all the time. Hunter damage in the early game is very similar usually, especially in this case. But one item difference can make the deal, and right now he has that short bow.
Right, Harpy's going to go the way of Panthera there. However, Jifffy made a rotation to the solo lane. Then he went over to the duo lane, looked for some pressure onto emilitoo. Still keeping up, but there's the blink for BigManTingz. Gets the yawn. Immediate shield comes out from iRaffer, followed by the Cataclysm. And Yammyn,
they got it.
That to separate.
Oh, Jifffy!
Mistimed. Unfortunately, gets knocked up at the same time by iRaffer as it missed.
Jifffy.
Tried to time it. It was. I like the idea. I like the idea.
Nah, I'm not in there.
You're not in there?
I'm not in there.
How come?
I mean, Kumbhakarna had his ultimate. He really should have ulted and negated the damage. Jifffy shouldn't have gone for the raw ult at that time. He could have waited another second. I understand that he was trying to get it before the purification came out, but there was setup potential.
Big uppercut comes out from BigManTingz. Supernova hit onto Jifffy there. The ring toss will help him out, and emilitoo's rotation causes the boys of Fnatic to back out. That ricochet would have done a lot of damage if it connected, but emilitoo's just going to walk back to lane now. Good rotation from him once again. He's one of the best hunters for rotating. And to be fair, alongside Realzx, that's pretty good.
Well, I mean, emilitoo is a world champion. He knows what he has to do to be successful in the game. And as you saw, that fight was going super, super far south for Panthera until emilitoo rotated over and forced the wash. There should have been a kill there probably for Fnatic.
I mean, he forced the rotation. He went over for the rotation to support his team, but because of that, he lost his balls over here. Realzx making the decision to stay in lane, push the wave under tower. emilitoo had a decision between the wave and his balls and ended up losing those.
Surprising that Realzx is going to back off here. There's nothing in his jungle. Perhaps he's going to back?
He's just hanging around there. He just doesn't want to give vision, and that's why emilitoo's like, oh, well, I don't see Realzx. I guess he's gone back to base. Realzx is just going to hang here. Has his ultimate, obviously, so just hanging around, making sure to put pressure on the enemy team by just not being on the map.
Honestly, that's a little bit more of the opposite from emilitoo. emilitoo usually is pressuring by being on the map, saying, I can outplay whoever rotates. I'm going to move out of position. I'm going to charge this Neath ult, you know, things like that. Whereas Realzx is like, I'm going to be a little bit sneaky.
Well, these balls for him are coming up right now, Realzx, so he could just go over there, pick up his balls on this left-hand side. You see popping mana potion. He says to me that he's not planning on going back to base anytime soon. Yeah. He doesn't need to, so pick up these, wait for a couple more waves.
And if he's not planning to go back anytime soon, it's way better to pop the mana pot early. Keep yourself close to full in case you run into danger and have an extended engagement. This ensures that Realzx has a much more higher staying power than emilitoo will in the lane, considering he doesn't have that level of mana to control.
Very true. Both of them, though, with that rank 2 of Golden Bow, means that wave clear, they don't really have to use abilities if they don't want to, even though we did see the ricochet used by emilitoo just for the full clear, to be able to rotate towards the Gold Fury, which has been pressured quite a bit by Fnatic.
By the way, we were wrong. He backed. He had enough gold to finish up the Aussie, so he backed a little bit earlier. I would assume the next thing is going to be going into that.
I'll save us now then. So he used that mana pot because A, just in case he got ganked, and B, because he wanted to get a sentry ward. So he didn't want to sell it, so why not just use it just in case?
33 gold. I probably would have sold it. If I had that much gold and I was going to go back, I probably would have sold it.
Right, Harpy's due to spawn. Both teams in position to contest. 3-on-3 is the call here. Will iRaffer engage the question? Well, he'll get yawned first of all, and immediately the camp goes the way Fnatic, and Panthera just head back to mid.
We only have a few more minutes before Panthera gets into gear.
The 16-minute mark.
The 16-minute mark is almost always their call. It's their calling card. As soon as it hits, they turn into these aggressive monsters. And with their, just a certain amount of items online, they know exactly how much damage they can do. They know where to commit, how to commit. And with the amazing shot calling coming out from this team, I'm expecting they're going to win the first major team fight if history serves. But so far, so good for Fnatic. I mean, still 1-0. Their lead is, what, 1,300, 1,400 gold?
It's a good position, especially with no Gold Furies being taken at the moment as well. And the 16-minute mark, for me, I want to say it's down to the relics more than anything else. Hit level 12 for all the team, and then look for the fight with the 2 relics online. Seems to be the sort of playstyle Panthera has. Or it's an itemization thing. I've never really looked into exactly what it is about the 16-minute mark that makes them just go off.
We see almost done with the boots is Yammyn. He's not going to be going into that Doom Orb, which we've expected. And yeah, you can see those penetration boots picked up. He has a sentry and a regular ward as well. So he'll be able to put those down, control some space in the jungle. There's actually a lot of sentry wards on the left side of the map near the Gold Fury right now.
Talk about a little bit more about the left-hand side as well. Apollo has the Assy finished here. Meanwhile, emilitoo looked here for the Iqval instead. So bit of a difference there. Some extra sustain coming out for Realzx, but at the same time, emilitoo going for the boxing opportunities and the extra attack speed that'll be paid off for him for that.
Realzx, though, does have that short bow. as well. So another 15% attack speed. And I think I like the Aussie better here just because now he has better potential to fight for the Gold Fury. Something I assume Fnatic's going to go for sooner rather than later.
At the moment, emilitoo has it level 12 as well, so he's got some gold in his coffers at the moment, as you can see, 600. So he's got enough to go back for that short bow, or another short bow himself if he wanted to, or start working towards his Assy eventually. But not got that second relic, which is quite important. He needs to be very careful here with only that one relic online, so he'll probably be playing a little bit more defensive for now.
I'm looking at Zyrhoes here to make this rotation. I'm kind of surprised, actually, to see Panthera allow Zyrhoes to get Janus. I mean, this has been his staple god for so long, and I saw the Chronos ban. You know, obviously they're taking shots at both Realzx and Zyrhoes. That's the strategy that I think won them their last set. But, oh, Jifffy.
Not going to find that at the moment. Pressure from Adapts on this left-hand side. Instead, he's just going to soak experience for the time being. I like the way Fnatic played that, though, as well. They see iRaffer coming forward. So instead of getting hit by that shockwave, which could potentially, if Adapting's around, turn into an ultimate, play it safe and just back away. Talk about the solo laners. We've not mentioned them too much, but at the moment, Dimi's got a 200 gold lead over maniaKK in this lane so far. Experience seems relatively even, but gold is gold at the end of the day.
Level 14 for both of them. Highest level right now. As you see Dimi continuously moving forward, no fear, and he shouldn't really have any. Bellona clears just as easily, but we're going to see Dimi make a rotation here. Both the boar and the right camps, are coming up. I wonder which one he goes for.
They're looking for the right and harpies here, and Dimi's just here to soak the experience and zone them away more than anything else. He will hit level 15 off that. So once again, soaking a little bit more experience in gold over maniaKK. It's not much, but it all adds up at the end of the day.
And he gets one Ellie just walking right back. Bellona will take her own boar. I would assume Dimi's going to push this wave and immediately go for his own, as it is respawning. Back camp's available down there as well.
Mid lane, some aggression coming out once again from BigManTingz, who did use his blink to get in there for the engagement, but there was no follow-up or chance of finding a kill, so just backs away once more.
Maybe in a bit of trouble here. Dive bomb used Zyrhoes now off the mark on the shot. Left side camps looks like are going to go to Panthera.
Oh, but BigManTingz gets pulled in by Adapts after the knockup, followed by the shockwave combo coming out. We will see a second kill go down in the way of Dimi picking that one up, but the fight's still going.
Oh, look at this, and we got a rotation from the solo lane as well as maniaKK in the backline doing a ton of damage. Eagles rally to hit two. Yammyn safe though with the Geb shield, able to walk away.
But Jiffy's still chasing with Realzx coming in as well with the across the skies. emilitoo will be isolated and picked off to make that a 1-for-1 support for a hunter. Goes in the way of Fnatic.
Remember, Bellona, that bludgeon, that is not a dodgeable ability. It is a missable ability. Your opponent can miss it, but you personally cannot dodge it. It is only a dodgeable mistake if your opponent makes a mistake.
Well, with that pickup, look at this. They're going straight for the Gold Fury here. Jifffy tanking things up to begin with.
iRaffer.
Can heal eventually. And Realzx with the Assy, we've got to sustain back again. Dimi's here, as is Geb, forcing the reset. Knockup did hit. iRaffer ending up in a bit of trouble here. Shields himself, and a good juggle onto Realzx. Puts him in an awkward spot. He needs support from his team. But they're not going to follow up any further.
You know, a lack of vision actually hurt them really badly. Fnatic didn't have a ward to see how close iRaffer was. If maniaKK had just stayed on the Gold Fury, it was more than likely going to be his. So you got to look at this hot spot, right as where Yammyn's backing on that side of the map. If there was a ward right there, they would have had that Gold Fury for free. Instead, Fnatic winds up, even though they get a 1-for-1 trade in the end, winds up losing a fair amount of their gold lead from about 1,000 or 1,300 down to about 1,000.
Well played damage as we see it tune in there. Dimi still top, followed by Jifffy, Realzx, and maniaKK right behind him as well. So pretty much even in terms of the player damage done so far. Not a surprise to see everybody involved.
We're getting a blue buff done on the top side. I thought Dimi was actually making the rotation there. I was wondering if he had the timer, but no, Jiffy's going to pick that up for free. He'll drop it, even without splitting the camp, just to make sure it gets done. maniaKK level 16 right now with Dimi, both of them finding a kill, but still an advantage. As you can see, Dimi about 300 gold in the lead.
Dimi's going to have a bit of an experience lead as well, just because he's getting more of those camps in the jungle as well. The blue buff being soloed by by Jifffy there means that maniaKK won't get that extra experience from that camp. It'll go the way of Jifffy, who's doing a good job of keeping pace with adapting, though.
By the way, check out the build. Let's actually hover on the shields here for tier. Now, Spike Shield's going to be turning into Void Shield.
Okay.
Which is not even buffed yet. It's getting buffed in the next patch. Winds up being much, much cheaper. This is an item that we're seeing built more and more when you have multiple physicals on the team, and I'm glad to see it. One of my favorite items.
Gets reset because of Raff's presence. Yammyn here to support with the Stellar Burst. Doesn't find it. Epic
good.
Uppercut, though, does hit onto Yammyn. Unstable Vortex hits as well. And Disapparate will come into play to get him out of danger. But this is now a 4v5.
Did you see that timing, by the way, from Yammyn? He throws his Sanctuary after the Disapparate so that as soon as the Sanctuary ends, she Disapparates. And she's still invulnerable. Very, very good play. 4 seconds of, almost 4 seconds of pure invulnerability.
So with Yammyn going back to base there, you saw Panthera try to pressure mid with Dimi. In response, Fnatic swing back round to keep that even. And then go straight away to these Harpies. Once again, the Gold Fury started. emilitoo on the front line. Not going to find the Ricochet on to the Kumbhakarna. He said he went for the Gold Fury, but now it looks like BigManTingz may fall down for this.
Yeah, he's way out of position here, and adapting will find that kill. We're going to move forward. Actually, Sprint gets popped. They're trying for something else. It looks like the team was able to back up. But BigManTingz out of position, trying too hard in the front line to control, and the damage is very high from Panthera.
I don't think Fnatic could be upset, though, because they did get the Gold Fury off this maniaC, trying to tank up the front line, body block some of these shots coming in at the tower, especially with no minions coming in. It's a little bit harder to do. New wave coming in with Janus there. Panthera going to have to walk away from here and concede the Gold Fury.
And the whole time, Realzx is sitting there pushing, forcing that level of pressure on the left side, and immediately someone on Fnatic obviously calls us, dude, they're all coming left, you got to get out of there. And then maniaC, or rather Realzx, right back to the base to spend up some of that gold, and he goes into what looks like the chin size build.
So BigManTingz falling there. What I did like about it was what emilitoo did. We was tuning in with him. He put the suns down on Realzx in the area where the team could come into pressure and support BigManTingz, who's being threatened with death. And instead, by putting that down, it wasn't going to secure the kill for himself. It just stops the rest of the team coming in to try and help out.
So maniaC going into more of a defensive build, as we're seeing a Bulwark of Hope be started up here, as you see that Silver Talisman. Comparatively to the Void Shield coming out from Dimi, looking for more damage, not only for himself, but for adapting an emilitoo as well on the front line. He will sacrifice some level of penetration to objectives for extra penetration for his team against opponents.
This is a very good game so far for Fnatic. Let's just go check in with the graphs here. You'll see there is a gold lead for Fnatic that has continued to, climb slowly but surely in their favor.
Whoa! Jifffy on the left side.
Yep. I was going to say, how did that happen? Jifffy ended up making an impact. Didn't use his ultimate then, neither did Realzx. And emilitoo falls down without using his either. I'm not sure if that was actually up, but they're going to be able to get this tier 1 Tyrant left now because of that great rotation. And that's generally down to the wall coverage that we can see from Fnatic here.
I really wish we had listen-in potential right now, just so I can understand what Panthera's comms sound like when they're not just storming through a team.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure if you listen to Fnatic's now, Realzx would be like, I went through him like a hot knife through butter. That's what would have happened, pretty much. 3-2 is the scoreline now, heading towards 20 minutes. And the 16-minute Panthera we've come to know and love has... Well, they've struggled this game so far.
Well, check out the builds, man. Look at Realzx compared to emilitoo. Not only has that balance blade over the light blade, so a 15 extra power spike, but the gold difference is astronomical. Let's check gold in hand here. We're looking for 1450 for Apollo, and he's basically got it. He's 75 away, and then he's going to have those chin size online, and that is such an insane power spike. It's going to be 25 extra damage, plus the chin size passive.
Plus the chins, which will just shred through health as well.
And then after that, I assume we're going to go right into the Titan's Bane, just for extra damage for the split push. And we're going to see Realzx.
And then we sell Golden Bow. What would you do then? Sell Golden Bow for
Golden
pen
Bow.
or crit?
You could go pen. You could go, some people like Rage. Some people like a little bit more attack speed with Oboe. I don't think that'll be the case with Apollo. I think that's probably not a great idea. I would probably be looking for a power spike. Something like Transcendence really isn't a bad idea.
Epic uppercut blind onto Yammyn there, who immediately gets a shield, has to Sanctuary as well. So once again, a small win for Fnatic.
The Geb shield, the Sanctuary, and Disapparate all burn there. You can see the level of fear that happens once BigManTingz goes directly for soul. And this is the strategy from Kumbhakarna that we're not seeing enough of from other teams. If you have a character that gets bodied, I mean straight up bodied, like a Nasha or a Soul on a team against Kumbhakarna, you have to take those opportunities every single chance, even if it results in you getting pushed out of position. If your team can find the follow-up, it's worth it.
These builds are getting so interesting now between the two teams. You can see Wingblade coming out from Naja. Across the way, you got Adaptim working on, what was that again?
Stone-cutting sword.
I always forget its name.
50 power, 10 movement speed, and it's a 10 protection shred stacking 3 times, and you gain it as well. Physical protection, of course.
And not just that, though, but look at the Hinduman line on iRaffer here. Very early in the build, looking to be that body blocking front line that he needs to against these 3 physicals they're going to have to come up against.
I'm a little worried about this, considering the fact that a lot of the damage isn't really coming from the autos themselves, but from chin size. If this was crit, I could understand it a little bit more since it happens before protections. Oh, adapting. Oh my god.
Reals feeling himself a little bit there, just going to put some pressure on adapting, not
I'd
too
be
worried.
too.
With the mark of the crawlers, got to watch out for the ricochet, which unfortunately just off the mark in the jungle there, so Reals going to be fine to just continue farming away. To be fair, when you think of the old days of Reals, you used to think of Apollo. Before Rama's creation, Reals was Apollo.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He was outshined by some of the other hunters, I think, on this. I would say, like Zatman comes to mind, Barracuda, of course, comes to mind. But once I think Rama came out and Reals really started to find his footing as a hunter player, and now he's switching back to Apollo, I like to see this. I like the way that he's been playing so far. Obviously, level 19 puts him highest in the game, tied with both Dimi and maniaKK.
And Reals is one of these players that will abuse the Across the Skies to start team fights with his team, tell him to initiate and be there for the fight. He was one of the best hunters for rotating early, but emilitoo started to match him, if not outshine him sometimes.
A Midgardian mail, by the way, picked up from maniaKK. Also kind of worried about them auto attacks, wants to make sure that there's some level of protection against it. We're going to get another Gold Fury attempt as BigManTingz walking forward, trying to deal with it.
Got to deal with 3 there, going to root iRaffer, but that leaves adapting 3.
That's
No,
good.
it doesn't. The Yawn comes out. Is the Gold Fury going to go down? They reset it just as the team comes in, and now BigManTingz is in trouble, going to get hit by 2 ultimates, but he's still standing.
He's trying. There is a Sleepy passive active, I'm pretty sure, here. So far, no one down. BigManTingz very low as Yammyn burns the Disapparate. The Gold Fury should turn here. The level of health isn't big enough.
maniaKK and Jifffy, the only 2 that can really look to contest this. Jifffy has no ultimate, though. I believe they used that to
gotta let
disengage,
this go.
so this should be Panthera's Gold Fury here. We should put them in the lead. Panthera do secure it, but will maniaKK pick up a kill in response?
He's going for adapting. Beautiful Geb shield coming out from iRaffer. Peels and saves his team. Sprint going to be used, and bludgeon not going to be enough. Didn't find the swing. Pushing him forward, though. Oh, no, and Reals from the sky. iRaffer trying to help, but only does work here as Reals, yes, dives into the back line like you called, finds a double.
Gets the double kill and tries to get out, but Yammyn's coming around the side as well. Zyrhoes is letting them know they're coming, but still, Jifffy using the ring toss to juke around as long as possible. The portal comes down from Zyrhoes, and that was more for support than anything else to try and get Jifffy an exit strategy just a little bit too late.
A Gold Fury +1 versus 2 kills for Fnatic. Winds up being a pretty good win for Panthera. Let's run that back.
Yeah, that's so Reals for me. I want to see how he does in this engagement because he's coming in across the sky. He ends up getting the double, which I was surprised. I thought he only got 1,
Well,
but he ends up picking up
watch
both.
this. You're going to actually see Geb hit Jifffy right towards adapting. The ring slows him and guarantees the kill for Reals, and then he just goes right forward. I think there was a tiny mistake here that was more build-oriented than mechanics, and that was Reals did a perfect mez and then accidentally woke Geb up with a golden bow.
Good pressure coming out from the boys of Fnatic there. We didn't catch it on camera, but Tier 1 tower falls in mid lane after that little engagement too, so abusing their mobility to their advantage now. And that, the surprising thing there is the Gold Fury, as you can see, it dipped it back in favor of Panthera making it even, but the Tier 1 tower just dips it once again.
So far, a pretty impressive
good game
coming out from Fnatic. This is not something I think anyone would have expected going up against Panthera. A lot of people out there calling that 50-minute total game time, and most certainly not the case here. In fact, this is shaping up to be one of our 50-minute games, period.
It is, and it's looking very, very contested between the 2. I mean, the big thing is when you generally play up when you play against harder opponents, you know how difficult it's going to be to beat this team, so you put your try-hard pants on the whole time. Not trying to say you don't against other teams, but
No, I mean, that's how it works.
when you get world champions, you know you've got to play up.
A lot of people have, who play down. A lot of people play down. I personally play down a lot. If I'm not intimidated by my opponent, if I just think it's just some person I think I deserve to beat, I'm going to play much worse.
So that's why you get soloed so much?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, honestly, yes. It's because I think that I'm better than my opponent. I put myself out of position. I die to minions. I die to towers.
The pro players do the same thing.
Yes,
And
they do.
I
This
think
is something...
a lot of that, like in casual play, rank play, that happens a lot.
DJ Pernicus is one of the people that comes to mind. Obviously extremely talented player, but tends to play down to people who he thinks he's going to beat.
Onto Dimi, but a shield from iRaffer will keep him alive as they're looking to pressure Tier 2 here now, Fnatic. They're really looking to abuse the map and their mobility to get around as a team. But look at emilitoo. Going to get some free poke damage on the Tier 2. maniaKK coming over and immediately...
He's not going to be able to back.
emilitoo got it back. Well, at least attempt to. He's too far away to jump over the wall there, so this could be a bit of pressure. Has to use sprint, immediately stunned out by maniaKK. Ricochet did connect on the second bounce there, through space and time comes out, and that is dead. emilitoo, the split push did not work out for him.
But they call for Fire Giant. They're not going to be alone here. It's nowhere near death at this point, and they're gonna reset it. Very wise decision out of nowhere.
Jifffy takes one to the sky, looking for the pressure onto Yammyn there, but Yammyn was in Disapparate, so didn't take a lot of damage. Now Jifffy has to Sanctuary. Supernova goes off from Yammyn too, but maniaKK's rotation is forcing Yammyn back.
I'm surprised that he didn't just stick to Yammyn for that long. Trouble here for Dimi. Groggy Strike, no, gonna miss. BigManTingz slightly off.
Dimmy's the undying though. He's probably not going to die here, even though going to get collapsed on. Has Lawbringer available if he wants to. Going to get a Geb shield, but round the back comes maniaKK. Once again, going to Scourge. Throw out the in hand. But Blink from BigManTingz on the back.
And a good return from iRaffer there. They're trying to push this forward. Dimi, oh my god, in place, almost getting 2 kills. Dimi out of position though, and another big ultimate. Solo laner going 1 for 1 there. But look at this all the way in the back line. Adapting, trying to make a play, could be in trouble.
But they're all very low at Fnatic. They need to disengage, and adapting. Disengaged, and he's going to go back in again, looking for a pick onto Jifffy. With it, finds the feather step, secures the kill, and Fnatic pay the price from overextending.
The only kill in that engagement, 1 of 10 possible kills, and it winds up being a rather cheeky engagement from adapting as he blinks over the wall, jumps over the wall there, and goes for as much damage as possible. The big thing for me there is that huge BigManTingz ult. Hits that epic uppercut, sets up massively, but then immediately back, iRaffer with a huge ult to stop the fight and put it back in Panthera's favor. And then that happened again later with the solo laners.
And Dimmy's Lawbringer, yeah.
Right, Dimi throws down a massive Lawbringer, almost killing 2 people, and then maniaKK answers with an Eagles rally, stunning out 3 and washing the fight. Incredible.
Well, because of that pressure, Panthera's looking towards this mid tower, trying to bring it down. Scourge from maniaKK will slow him down. Ricochet hits him as well. He's going to charge in an Eagles rally. emilitoo disengages as Kumba goes forward, trying to create a zone for them. maniaKK under pressure from Dimi though on the backside here, and Yammyn was supporting nicely.
And he's going to jump away. Nice shot from Zyrhoes as he walks in.
Realzx dived in the back
this guy's
though.
Nuts.
He did manage to find the kill, but maybe he's in trouble there. Going to mess out Dimi to create himself some space. Cost him Sanctuary as well there, but they do find a pick to Fnatic.
Yeah, they kill emilitoo, which I think is a really big deal. We'll be able to see Realzx back right here. He's going to get full health. He actually picks up a health pot just in case he needs to sustain a little while longer. You can see his build is almost full at this point. The Titan's Bane is done. He still has his throwing dagger. We'll see what he goes into last. We know he doesn't want attack speed. You know, he's Apollo. So the usual oboe is likely off the table. I wonder if he goes into maybe something like Jotuns.
Well, to be fair, emilitoo, who's 0-5 this game so far, if you actually look at his build, he's not that far behind Realzx overall. So just working on that Titan's Bane to be relatively even, other than what happens when Realzx sells that golden bow, and for what is the question?
So we see this player damage chart on the left side. Dimi right near the top at 13.6, but barely edging him out is the Fnatic Hunter Realzx at 13.79. Wow.
Not a surprise. Realzx has really stepped it up this game. 7-4 is the scoreline. Panthera at a deficit right now in terms of kills, but gold is just in their favor and experience. It's not going to matter too much more as we're approaching 30 minutes. Everyone's starting to hit that level 20.
Left side, and they're going to start this right up. Realzx, a fair amount of attack speed, 10% chance to crit, extra protections, of course, from that mesmerize.
Do they not see that Epsilon ward in the Gold Fury pit? Or is that theirs? You see it?
Maybe it's theirs.
Oh, it is theirs. No, it's a pull coming in from Dimi. Blink from iRaffer. Gonna force an engage. Dimi gets in. I guess that's just out of range as iRaffer now under pressure. He's alone here, gonna be isolated. Shields himself. Lawbringer from Dimi as maniaKK goes the other way with the Eagles rally. They trade places, and emilitoo might be able to pick up maniaKK now as iRaffer goes down to Jifffy.
Yeah, we're gonna get one so far on each side as maniaKK falls.
Adapting
Trouble,
now.
adapting, forced to use his purification, but Dimi gonna find a kill onto Realzx. Most of the damage removed now.
Big kill onto Realzx, and then adapting gets another kill. He knocks up 2 of them, and BigManTingz now under pressure too. Needs to throw back away, looking for the portal, but gets feather stepped on to stop him going for it. Ricochet misses, but passive gets hit by Tingz, and he will fall down here. There's not a whole lot Zyrhoes can do.
And threading the needle right at the end, Yammyn avoids the damage from that unstable vortex, and just Zyrhoes now trying to defend against this. There's no way.
So what went wrong with that fight? The Gold Fury was started by Fnatic, the teleport comes in from Dimi, iRaffer engages but doesn't find anything of it, and the next minute, Panthera win the fight.
Jifffy used his ultimate on Geb.
Is that simple?
It's that simple, because when he landed, Geb wasn't dead. Any other character in the game, any character, literally, with that build at that health would have died. And Geb didn't. So when he lands and has to continuously re-engage to find this kill, he had to take 1 extra auto attack. He would have been able to escape. He should have been able to get back, use his sash in another direction, but instead winds up going forward, puts himself out of position, which gives adapting enough time to cause just a huge ruckus in the backline.
Well, with Realzx and maniaKK falling in that engagement, we've now only got 3 players in this game who haven't died yet. Zyrhoes once again on that Janus. Yammyn in the mid lane, who's been the focus of attention a lot by Fnatic, so done a good job there. And obviously Dimi on that tier, who's very, very difficult to kill.
I love this maniaKK build, by the way, going for that full attack speed reduction against 2 characters who are mainly relying on it. The issue is that he's not able to sustain the way that Dimi is. He can't stick to that backline in the same way. So he's putting himself out of position, and his team doesn't have enough peel with BigManTingz constantly getting picked to actually do anything with it.
Oh, you saw what Adaption was looking for. He used his ultimate, expecting to get the knock up there through the wall. Didn't manage to find it, unfortunately, so be on cooldown for a few seconds now. Panthera in control of the Fire Giant pit for now, and Fnatic just trying to wrestle back control.
So we have a Magi's Blessing being picked up. There's a fair amount of ways for them to get rid of this Magi's Blessing from BigManTingz. emilitoo has 2 ways, iRaffer has 2 ways, Yammyn has 1, Adapting has 1, and Dimi, of course, has 1. So,
but I think the big engager has been iRaffer with that knock-up. He's been knocking him up with the Shockwave, and Adapting's been pulling it off here. That means that potentially they have to blow that first of all before they can look to knock him up again.
Right side tier 2 getting pressured as Panthera is looking to extend their gold lead. They're already up by about 4K. They want to try to make it 5.5.
After taking a few shots, really. Don't think he really needed to there.
Nice
Scourge
shot.
comes out from maniaKK just to slow down this pressure. The team of Fnatic now rotating to support. You can see where Zyrhoes is positioned in the jungle there at the back. He's just hanging around like, I will give a portal escape routes, and then through space and time if they overcommit.
emilitoo continues the pressure here as we move forward.
I love that Zyrhoes and Adapting thing in the jungle there as we're watching these two. You can see them just eyeing each other up, but the minion wave pressured in again. BigManTingz goes in, gets a yawn off shield from iRaffer once again to keep Yammyn out of danger.
Yammyn doesn't burn either one of his relics there in that engagement, which is very impressive. That level of trust and patience coming out from his team is really high because it's obvious that he is the target. You know, they really want to find
iRaffer
Yammyn out of
blinks,
position.
Cataclysm, hits onto 2. Big Fearless onto maniaKK, who's half health already, being forced back. emilitoo picks up BigManTingz based off that engagement. maniaKK still trying to get away. Real's trying to trade out with them, has to disengage himself.
Through space and time was burned as well, just to pretty much put some pressure on that creep wave, keep them off the tower, but it's going to be a Fire Giant gesture here.
Well, when you use the through space and time, there's no Real secure on the side of Fnatic now, so Panthera can go for this Fire Giant. Real's got his own with Dimi. 3 other members still doing the Fire Giant here. Dimi and iRaffer doing good work on that front at the moment. They're trying to find a gap to get through Fnatic, but it's going to be too late.
You notice Adapting actually uses Feather Step as well to banish himself off the table while the lava pools are spawning, so he does close to execution damage while making sure he doesn't take or even spawn another lava pool. That is top level play.
33 minutes in, Fire Giant on the side of Panthera. Tier 2 towers are remaining for Fnatic though, but 2 of them are already weakened. Fnatic have done a good job to get to this stage, but Panthera just starting to get the edge on them in every fight now. Since that Gold Fury, really, it was even up until that Gold Fury, and then since then, Panthera taken control.
5K plus FG puts Panthera in a pretty good spot. Everyone level 20 except for iRaffer, who's 18, 2 levels, or no, I'm sorry, 1 level now higher than BigManTingz. But Jifffy only level 19 as well, so there's a 2-level advantage for Panthera. But they have a major amount of pressure given the fact that the Fire Giant buff's going to help them burn those 3 towers down. They still have more damage thanks to the buff as well. So I'm assuming this is going to wind up being pretty quick from here.
Yeah, Jifffy as well, though, did get a bit of a power spike there. Sold his bombers to get his Deathbringer online. He's really looking for the pick potentially onto emilitoo or Yammyn here. But Yammyn's not an easy target to find in these engagements. He's getting constant support from iRaffer.
3 people wind up trying to defend Dimi. All the while, 3 people from Panthera able to push down to tier 2 and
that's how it was
working
dead.
their way over.
The left-hand tower was already dead anyway. emilitoo did the donkey work on that one in terms of bringing it down, so they weren't going to be able to defend it. Maybe they'll look to defend mid, though, but with iRaffer and the boys being there already, looks like they'll get this one as well, so Fnatic will only have Phoenixes remaining very soon. 200
damage, 199. Those are the numbers that we were seeing getting just kind of drilled into that tower. Towers only have about 2,000 health, so watching them burn through it that quickly is pretty intense.
All the tier 2 towers do fall, and you saw there
Golden Hand, please.
Showing the Crusher. Golden Hand, we see 1,761 at the moment for Yammyn. He's going to be heading back to base.
It's a total of about 7,500 gold in hand. If you go to the charts, we'll actually show you about a 10,000 gold lead, which means they just did that with 2,500 gold extra in hand. Now they're going to have that full lead as they all take their back.
This is a bit of respect from Panthera, though. They're not going to go and try and assault a Phoenix right now. They've taken the win with the Fire Giant. They've taken the win with the towers. They're going to get the Gold Fury as well, extend their lead, and try to complete their full items online. Soul Reaver about to be finished by the looks of it as well by Yammyn. We should be very, very close after this. But Fearless from Dimi, he does catch Zyrhoes in an awkward spot. The Lawbringer was positioned perfectly.
Zyrhoes, I know exactly what's going through the head, and that was just, why were they there? Like, why there? Why there on the map? Dimi was in a very strange place on the map.
Just waiting.
And really, that's what it comes down to. He thinks, okay, what's the safest place on the map right there, aside from their base? Where do they want to push? I'm going to check that out. And he winds up finding one.
Now 2 members of Panthera, the only 2 not to die, as the pull goes in onto maniaKK of all people there. They hit him with the Cataclysm too, but maniaKK very tanky and hard to bring down. Jifffy, though, gets exploded as he was looking for pressure onto Adapting.
This should be a pretty clean up as they take the bird down. We're going to see another death for Kumbhakarna. That puts him at 0-5-2 for the game, a part of only 25% of the kills. And they're going to take the safe route by going for the second bird. No, they're going to think the better of it, maybe even go for the Titan. A little bit of damage in each direction.
Well, they could try to look for the M3 members, still dead at the moment. They're looking for the pick on the right, but nope, the Titan will be the focus here. Only maniaKK here to defend with Realzx, and Realzx is in the sky, crashing down to pick up emilitoo, though, just to make sure his KD goes up and emilitoo's goes down.
36 minutes it will take Panthera, the world champions, to find their win over Fnatic. Maybe not terribly unexpected. Game 2 should be coming up here in just a minute, and Fnatic really doesn't have to make too many changes, just has to be a little bit cleaner in the fights.
I agree. I think overall their game plan works very well for them. They had good engagements. They had a good early game. They got the first Gold Fury. They stopped the storm of Panthera's 16-minute destruction, and even won the engagements from there. But then that one Gold Fury where they missed a ward, I guess it was just out of range. I'm not going to say they missed it. It was out of range of the Gold Fury, so they didn't see the teleport from Dimi, and then turn around.
I don't know, Fnatic looked great. Like right from the get-go, let's look at the first blood. Right from the get-go, they were looking great. They had good control, and this is, of course, going to be a
from
pretty
Realz's
great
angle
rotation.
Here, this was a rotation coming out from adapting for pressure. Zyrhoes and Jifffy respond, and iRaffer gets yawned immediately by Tingz, which sets up for the pick on Geb.
So a little bit early there, actually winds up wasting damage from Zyrhoes, which I think would have actually resulted in more damage, but BigManTingz able to continue that, and then a very good sash to follow it up. But while they did get first blood, and they won a few of the engagements, including the first Gold Fury, it was Panthera that wind up on top, and a lot of that having to do with the world-class solo laner, Dimi.
He really is a world-class solo laner. Dimi had a big impact in that game once again. Didn't see him much in the early game, but we saw the kill at the end on Zyrhoes here, who is very hard to kill. I mean, to be fair, Zyrhoes is, like, I want to say his KD is one of the best over in mid for not dying at least, and continues the pressure of the Phoenix.
And then you can actually see he throws BigManTingz to the backline for his carries to pick up, then turns to the bird to try to do as much damage to the Phoenix as possible, and then as soon as the combo is done and realize that BigManTingz isn't dead, he turns around to ensure the kill.
And adapting as well. I mean, Awilix plays through the game. He seemed very quiet. We didn't shout out his name too much, but he picked up a lot of kills in this game.
See, honestly, I don't think that has to do with adapting playing bad. I think that has to do with the rest of Panthera maybe getting the same mechanics level that he is. Now, you see, he already forced it. This is where Jifffy burned the ultimate on what is probably the wrong person. And while he's chasing that kill, Adapting's getting another one. And now Adapting has the ability, as Jifffy goes the wrong way and has to burn his Sanctuary, to get right to the back line and just destroy everything.
That was a very supportive play from Adapting. You see, he could have chased onto Jifffy, but instead he looked to help his front line, help them pick off the target, which was Realzx, and then Jifffy gets pulled back into that engagement because of it, and then they pick up some more kills.
Not only does he stop BigManTingz from going into the portal, but he forces Zyrhoes to take a more precarious path, who accidentally walks through it and locks BigManTingz into a death sentence.
Preemptive his Sanctuary is there as well, expecting a big burst that could potentially kill him when he was low health.
Same thing for the beads. He was probably a tenth of a second off. He tried to preemptive the beads from Apollo Dash, but still gets hit by the knockback just barely.
Well, the world